I've got a recipe for you that is just perfect. It's that brilliant little snack that people know you went to the effort of making something homemade. It tastes absolutely fantastic, and it's so simple. You can even pop them in the freezer and then reheat them just before your guests come round. They're cheese and prosciutto puffs. They're popular with the kids and even more popular with the adults. Let me show you how you make them. First of all, you need to get yourself a cup of water, 115 grams of salted butter, a little bit of extra salt, a cup of plain flour, 4 eggs, some prosciutto that I've just diced up, and a little bit of grated cheddar, okay? So you get all of your ingredients out. First of all, we're gonna make the batter. I've preheated my pan just to move things along a bit quicker, and I've got 1 cup of water. And to that cup of water, we season it with a bit of salt, and you add 115 grams of butter, which I've just chopped up, right? So the butter will melt, and that'll all come up to the boil, and as soon as it does, you add your flour, and then you just continually stir it. What's gonna happen is that choux pastry, or that batter, is gonna start to ball, it'll turn into a ball, and it'll come away from the sides of the pan. Just keep on stirring it, and once you get it to that point, it's ready to take off the heat. Once you're satisfied that it's all sticking together, I'm just gonna bring that over here, and then transfer it into my stand mixer. Go ahead and get that working. Once it's sort of been going for 30 seconds or so, you're gonna add your first egg. Now you're gonna keep working this process until all 4 eggs are incorporated, doing them one at a time, and then we're gonna keep mixing it until it cools. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm letting the dough beat together and come back together before I add the next egg. Because if you overload it with eggs, what'll happen is your dough will separate. So you want to just give it a minute, let it keep beating until it comes back together as one, and then add your next egg. Now, can you see the change in the dough? Once you get that 4th egg in, what ends up happening is the dough comes right back together again, and that's exactly what you want. You can go ahead, lift up your paddle, make sure you scrape down all of that dough because you don't want to waste any of it. And then into our dough, what we do is we incorporate our flavourings, and you can really do anything you want. You can use all sorts of different types of cheese. You could use some jalapeno, you could use some bacon. There's so many different types of puffs you can make. Make sure that you fold all of that prosciutto and cheese through so you've got a good even mix throughout. What you do is get yourself just a couple of baking sheets that are lined with parchment paper or wax paper. Get yourself a little piping bag, and then you just pick up your dough. Shake it down. Just another little spoon. Give it a twist. If it's a sticky batter, which it may be, and you have any trouble, just get yourself a small knife that's dipped into some warm water, and as you pipe, you'll be able to just snip them off. Just like that. And just snip these off. Now, there's actually a little bit of beauty in the imperfection with these things. It's actually nice to show people that you've made them. So don't worry if they're a little bit different size or if they're not all the neatest little things that you've ever seen. And then you just go ahead, repeat this process by filling up your bag. You should be looking for about 60 of these in total. Okay, so fingers into the water, just go back and sort of push these guys back into shape a little bit. Once you have your cheese and bacon puffs all piped out onto your little baking trays, into the oven it goes. So they go in the oven at 200 degrees for about 25 minutes. So just have a little look. If they're nice and golden and have puffed up, take one out and taste it. If it's good to go, pull them out of the oven. Once your cheese puffs have had about 25 minutes, they should have puffed right up and they should be beautiful and golden brown. So just go ahead, pull those out, have a look at those. Yum. They're beautiful and hot. You can see some are different sizes. You don't need to fill them. Of course you could fill them with a Mornay sauce or something, but they're just delicious, just as they are. Merry Christmas.